All right, Will, thank you for joining me. March 22nd, 2022. We got a lot underway. Super excited for this conversation. Thank you for tuning in, everyone who's watching this late. It's 6 a.m. here on the West Coast, bright and early, but we had to wake up because we had to have a conversation with Will about all the happenings here in this Ripple versus SEC lawsuit. I know you got some TA, hopefully looking bullish for us, but let's get the full update. How have you been, Will?
Oh, been good, brother. Thank you for jumping on at this early hour, especially when you've got loads going on at home. I feel like, as we talked about previously offline, it's been a long time since we spoke to each other, and the first time we ever interacted was probably like maybe over a year ago now, and probably way more than that. Like so much has changed since then. At that time, we couldn't even work out how to stream on TikTok. I think weren't we? We couldn't even get on a stream, but now everything's advanced both in our personal lives and in the SEC case, and with XRP specifically, the crypto market. The landscape is completely different to the first time we ever talked. It's a bit incredible, really, to be honest.
It is. It definitely feels like our time is finally here as far as this Ripple versus SEC lawsuit. You know, my country, golly, the corruption has just been unbelievable that we've been unfolding here just within the XRP community. Like, not even talking about the rest of the corruption, but just specifically with the SEC and this Ripple versus SEC lawsuit. It's unbelievable. But we just got an update yesterday about the Hinman emails. And it does appear that the smoking gun is most definitely in there as far as them potentially saying that XRP is not a security. And so what's your prediction? I mean, everyone's throwing out dates, this month, next month, another year. What do you think?
Well, I can't see it personally. Can't see it lasting another year. Like, I don't know. I don't know too much about law. I don't know how they could push extra extensions. But from just the information that I get online, like from Jeremy Hogan, John Deaton, those sorts of people who really help us out in the XRP community and in the space, it seems to be that they know that if we do get these emails, then I think it's going to be done within the next month or two, maybe 3 months. And if we don't, then we're looking for like summary judgment. And I'm not sure when that's going to be. I think that's probably towards the end of the year. Like, when's that? Like June, July? Is that? I don't know. It might be summary judgment for the individual cases in June, July, and then like more towards like September, October for Ripple's case itself. But it's very exciting because yesterday we saw like Matt Solomon, who's like representing Brad and Chris. He wrote about, as you were saying, William Hinman's speech, and that it was comparing Ethereum specifically to being a non-security. But then he also said, and in the email chain that leads up to that, that XRP might be included in that within that non-security bracket, which makes us think that he knows something that we don't from the outside. But then, like, to go further than that, like an extra step is we know that there's loads of ex-SEC employees at Ripple. So some of them may also know what's in that email chain. So that might be how Matt knows that. But it's exciting and also like nerve-wracking at the same time. Like, I've got a big all my net worth basically is an XRP. So like my eyes are glued. My
Yeah.
eyes are glued to it.
Yeah.
What about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I put out my portfolio like a couple weeks ago and I showed everyone my percentages, and yeah, 93% of my crypto bag is XRP. That would be slightly down now because I did just buy some IOTA over the weekend. So I finally got my hands on a little bit of that. But yeah, man, I mean, for me, XRP has just been a no-brainer. It's just been so frustrating, I know, for so many people because they went all in on XRP. It is the biggest bag and it's done nothing, and the rest of the space is making fun of us, making memes, and everyone else made all these crazy gains, or so we're told. But I like to put it into perspective for people, that this is a whole new financial system, and XRP is really designed to be a key layer for this new financial system. And so it doesn't just happen overnight, right? We have to let this thing play out. And there's a reason why, in my opinion, the SEC had to stall up XRP and Ripple. And as we start to see now with the Ethereum free pass and the scandal that's become, it's pretty clear that there was other Wall Street entities in on Ethereum. And that's why they wanted to get that Ethereum free pass through the door. and then they have this whole ecosystem that's built on top of Ethereum. And so, for me, it's pretty clear now. We're just kind of letting it play out, right? We call it the world stage for this exact reason. It's whether it's incompetence or whether it's complete corruption. We'll see how it plays out. But like you said, we know that we have the winning hand. It's like we're at the poker table. We have the royal flush. We're just building this thing up, right? We're getting the enemies to bet more, to expose themselves more. And I've always said the longer this case goes on, the more the SEC gets exposed. The SEC has to settle this up unless they want to get completely exposed.
Yeah, I had a similar discussion with someone this morning on the phone. I was like, well, what actually comes out if we do get this this Hinman email chain, and it comes out that XRP is specifically in there? They might even mention it, saying it's not a security. And this whole time we've had the SEC arguing that it is, but you've got a literal, like, in writing that they're saying that it's not. And that's from 2018. What happens then? Like, I don't understand what even happens with the SEC. Then he said, oh, it will probably get brushed under the carpet like everything does financially. But I don't know. It's got to be short of too much in the public eye for that now, is it not?
Yeah, well, I know. Well, yeah, there's a lot in the public eye here in the United States right now, but that's the thing is I've never expected to see these guys get in trouble in any way. Even if it is completely exposed that they were completely corrupt, I'm not expecting to see Bill Hinman get in trouble. And I think that Ripple is too classy. They're playing along, they're doing their thing. They know that they're going to win this case. They know they're in the right. They know they're going to be on the right side of history. They just want a level playing field. And I know a lot of people are saying, no, we need to fight this all the way and get the complete victory. As long as we have clarity for XRP, we're going to be off to the races. We don't need to expose the SEC. I mean, I would love to, but that's a whole other fight, fighting the corruption in our government. I mean, we could be here for another century doing that. But yeah, as far as this case goes, I tweeted out yesterday, I said, this case is over. We're just watching the cover up.
Yeah, no, and I'm on the same page as you there. And I think that's something that obviously this case is close to a lot of people's heart, especially in the XRP community. And a lot of the heat has been put on towards Ethereum, and for reasons that I think are right, but who knows? Definitely at the minute, no one. But I don't want to see another crypto take the hit from the SEC. So if the way that the SEC try and get out of this is being like, okay, well, let's go after Ethereum next, I don't want to see that as part of the crypto space, because I don't want to stifle this innovation. Let us run free. Let's see what happens. Let's let the market decide which cryptos are going to be the most dominant. If we can come out of this, like you say, the faster we get out of this with clarity is the best for us as XRP holders and the space in general. As soon as we get as soon as they open that door, surely the floodgates just open, mainly for XRP, but also for the market in general. It brings a lot of relief to a lot of people, especially if we can get a non-security designation. It's just well, the SEC have messed up there. They've got a lot on their hands now.
Yeah, we have, we'll be the first cryptocurrency with complete clarity, because we already got clarity from our FinCEN, which is another department of our government, as a virtual currency in the 2015 lawsuit, right, where we settled up. So now if we get this from the SEC, it's just going to be off to the races. And, let's get excited. Let's get the people excited though. What's up in the charts right now? What's coming next for XRP? And then what do you think as far as, a year out from the lawsuit? I always tell people, I say, I think that we're going to be at high double digits, if not 3 digits, within a year after the lawsuit's done, because all that utility is going to get unleashed. All the value will be unlocked. I think we'll be well on our way to high double digits, even 3 digits, within a year or two after the case is done. So what do you got for us in the short term without pulling up the charts? And then give us some sort of exciting price prediction that's going to go viral or something.
Yeah, okay. So very, very short term, I think it's possible we're following a similar bars pattern or fractal pattern to what we saw in March of last year, which is kind of weird, because if we wait 2 or 3 weeks, it will almost be exactly the same time as what we took off last year. And I'm talking about that run from, where were we, about 40 cent to 190-ish top last year. So we could be looking at a similar sort of move like that this time. But what you've got to think is, if you break that previous resistance at 190, then there's nothing really holding us back. And if we follow that bars pattern, it follows pretty well, because what happens is it pops out above 190 and goes to about 220, and then it comes down, retests the like 130, 140 region that we found a lot of resistance at. Then we push back up above like a trend line that's been from the previous all-time high down above the 190, and it settles on top of that before the next leg up, which also completes like a cup and handle pattern, which will take us out to like 450, and that's obviously above all-time highs. And from there, guys, it's like moon closer on and rocket emojis are out. Like, we are waiting to see what's happening next. If we can get this is what I really would like, and that takes us to like April, May, by the way, with this explosion. So if we can get out to there without a settlement, and then we see some positive settlement, if we can like have an alt season, organic price action, we follow the rest of the market. Let's say we take the same sort of percentage gains as other things, or we start to see the XRP bull run like we've seen on the previous two alt seasons, averaging like a 1500-ish%. If we start to see that before a settlement arises and we're out above all-time highs, I don't even know where I can predict like price action to go there. We've got all the catalysts coming after that, like the relisting. You've got indexes that we wanted to buy up XRP. We've already had Ripple buying it off the secondary exchanges. There'll probably be some sort of delay if they even are allowed to sell back into secondary exchanges. Like, we've got everything like coming for like a perfect storm in that sense. And in terms of like long-term price action, I try not to get too excited about that, because like I do think we'll have a correction in the markets at some point, probably like catalyzed by the stock market of some kind, people like taking risk out like from their portfolios. But whether XRP even survives that, like not as in like survives it like long term, I mean like whether it still maintains its high price, because we've had all this suppression anyway. What is the fair market value for XRP right now? Because it's not 80 cent, I can tell you that. So let's see. Like, I do not try and look past my short-term price targets. I've got a few take profits along the way, but towards $13-ish, and I hope that I get the opportunity to re-enter with some of the profits that I've taken. Yeah, I'm not going to take too much to put myself in a bad position, but I am going to take enough to like make myself financially free. And then from there, if I get the opportunity to re-enter, I'm back in the game. Like, so. I don't know. I don't try and look past that. Especially for now, because I try and just keep laser focus for that specifically. But in terms of like longer term actual utility, well, yeah, you're not off it with like high 2 digits, 3 digits in short to medium term. I think when we start to price utility into the market, which we literally don't do at the minute, it's complete speculation. Yeah. Then we're on some big numbers for sure, brother. Yeah, for sure.
Are you taking so similar to kind of what BC Backer's doing with the fractal he's been watching? Is that kind of similar to what you're doing? I know the BC Backer fractal, that's from like the 2018 bull run, isn't it? The one that he's been sharing with everyone?
Yeah, that was more for Bitcoin, I think. Yeah. It's kind of the same. It's the same principle, but yeah, I don't know. I just sort of noticed it the other day in my head. Like, do you know what really stood out to me is there's a few things that we really need to look for. So I have like a little like buy box or accumulation section drawn into my chart, which is around like, you can see where it spikes up before when the SEC lawsuit first comes in, which is back obviously in like November-ish or late November of 2020. And then we also have in like February or January of 2021, we had that like XRP pump and dump group. I don't know if you remember that, but it spikes up and wicks up into this box. And whenever it loses that as support, it takes quite a big drop. And when it pushes above that, it pushes out quite a lot. And we've actually been accumulating within this box, I found pretty interesting for a while. And we haven't had a daily candle close above the 50-day moving average or a weekly candle close above that for a while with XRP. And when we have, we've seen like 100-ish% move. So that's what we're looking for now, and that could really catalyze, as I said, like a big move. Because if we get the breakout target that it's showing, then we will be above the previous resistances, and then honestly, it's like just throw a dart and let's have a look what happens, depending on what goes on with news and stuff after that, in my opinion.
Yeah. So I mean, it's tough because in the short term, we've just been grinding, right? And it's like nothing exciting. Like, people don't get excited when we talk about a 100% move at this point, but we have to understand that like these have been year-long resistances that once we do break, like we can go at any time. And so I guess to wrap up on that, like people are joining, they're joining my Discord, they're hitting me up, should I buy now? I have a huge stack of cash. Should I buy now? Should I buy later? I don't offer financial advice to anyone. But what I'm doing, I mean, I already packed my bag a long time ago, thank God. But I tell people, you got to kind of hedge your bet because nothing's guaranteed. Like you said, we could pump and then we have the overall macro events take us back down. Even if we do get a settlement, we win and we go up to 10, $20 and then the world has another issue and we come back down. So I tell people to hedge your bets. If you're sitting on a stack of cash personally, if I didn't have any XRP right now, I wouldn't wait. I definitely would go secure a bag. And so I tell people, maybe invest like a third or half of what you have to invest now and consider waiting to buy more blood in the streets later on down the road. But what do you think about that? Not financial advice, obviously, but for newbies that are just trying to accumulate.
Yeah, of course. And definitely never financial advice. But what I say to my friends and family is even at these sort of prices, don't try and find an immaculate entry when we're at prices like this. What you've got to try and work out, in my opinion, is what's the risk to reward of this bet, essentially, of your investment. Like, what's the upside and what's the downside, and have a look what percentage wise you can make in this compared to what you can make in other assets. So they're really important things to take into consideration. So if you look at the previous all-time high, even, for example, so which is like between 320 and 380, depending on what exchange you look at, from here to there is 400% ish move. I don't know off the top of my head, like maybe 500% ish move. But for like Ethereum and Bitcoin, they're still way above that. They actually like 2 to 3x their all-time high on their previous tops, which is this cycle. So if we 2 to 3x 380, then where does that take us out? It takes us out to like $9, $12 ish in around that sort of section. And I'm looking personally for like a $13-ish short term like high. So if we can look out towards those sorts of prices, everything's like adds towards that when what all the other moves have done, what Fibonacci extensions and retracements have done. So look into percentages and like potential risk to reward is what I'd always say. And one thing always to take into consideration, especially at the minute, is your purchasing power of the dollar is like decreasing by 7.9% guaranteed per year. Like that's in inflation. So you're
hurting
losing
my
that.
Feelings, Will. You're hurting my feelings as an American.
Well, I think it's like 5.5 here, and it's definitely more because our energy bills have gone up like 100%. Well, not 100%, it's like 80% since last year. Fuel's up massively. So I don't know how they try and bring out these inflation numbers, but they're not right, in my opinion. So
no, no, absolutely. You're so correct. So I think that people need to weigh their risk. They need to invest not more than they can afford to lose, and they have to understand that this like alt season that we're kind of waiting for, it's not guaranteed, and I don't know, what are your thoughts? Like, for me, I feel like people who don't hold XRP are going to be pissed when they don't get in and we do a massive pump. And then even people who are invested in XRP are going to get pissed too when we do catch a pump and the exchanges aren't working, they go down and people aren't able to sell. Like, for me, I feel like part of the setup kind of play for XRP is people who don't have it are going to be pissed because they miss out on gains. And then the people that do have it are going to be pissed because they're not able to sell. They didn't buy enough. Like, it's, it's more a mental game than anything with investing, right?
Always. And like, that's been proved by, for me specifically, like I've not been investing my whole life. Like I was here for the 2016-17 bull run, but not as an investor, just as like a young kid. Like I didn't know what I was doing. And I wouldn't say I definitely do now. Like I've got more experience and you learn from that. But like you're saying, investing is a mental game. That's exactly what it is. So that's kind of what we want there. You know how you're saying that, oh, these people will be like disappointed they didn't buy XRP at low prices. That FOMO is what helps us drive the price up because they're going to jump on at whatever price. Like as soon as we see like positive news from the lawsuit, it starts to break like all-time highs. People are going to be like, all the like doubters who haven't even researched it properly will start looking into it. And I honestly think that XRP will be like the absolute talk of the town, not just because of the SEC, but because of like the extra hype that comes off the back of like an all-time high break on something that people are calling like a stable coin. And like, how much is that narrative spread at the minute? It's like, I don't think people really, well, I know that they don't understand the asset. They don't even look into the asset. They see a narrative online, they jump on the narrative, and they jump on the biggest bandwagon to say, oh, let's point at the XRP people and laugh at them because their price action is not followed. But as soon as we start to get that, and then you're saying actually about people who are holding the asset as well. I always think that it's hard because anyone who's put into like any kind of finance into anything like valuable, like you put in some of your hard-earned money in there, and especially if you don't have experience in markets or a very big risk tolerance or whatever, then it's always easy to look back at yourself and say, oh yeah, like I should have put more in back at the time. But you can't really do that. Like now's your opportunity to do it. And if you haven't got the emotion, if it's too much for you emotionally to do that, then don't do that. Like don't put yourself in a position and in a position where you're going to be upset. And at the same time, like this is something that is very important to me. And I know that me and you kind of differ on this a bit because I know that you want to hold the asset long term. But my opinion is if you ever like hit a financial like goal that would change your life, like I'm talking like pay off your mortgage if you want to do that, like pay for your family's education or anything like that. Like if you ever hit those sorts of targets and you're worried that the price, the asset could appreciate in value more, like just take some risk off the table, because I think the worst thing to do would be to then run it down, because I know how it feels to like run it up and not with a big bag, but then run it down again. I did that with Bitcoin in 2017 and like it wasn't much, but it would have been a lot for me at the time. And I just think that that feeling was worse than like holding XRP for like a year and a half, 2 years, and it not moving up in value. It's just one thing I wanted to add in. I'm not saying take it all. I'd never say take it all, because you want to hold that moon bag, because if it did rip to like 4, 5, 6 figures and you've sold it all, then you'd be very cross. But definitely if you can change your life with any investment, I'd always say change your life, in my opinion.
Yeah, you got to de-risk. You got to de-risk for sure. So, okay, so we know that XRP is the best thing ever and it's going to moon and make us rich, but what else is going on in the cryptocurrency space? What's your current take on the market? I'm seeing a lot of other influencers are saying that NFT season has come back. I know you're working on a little project. Maybe we can talk about that later, but what's the vibe right now for you? What are you seeing in the market?
Yeah, well, I think that definitely with the introduction of the ape coin from like Bored Ape Yacht Club, that has brought some attention back into the NFT space. Getting airdropped, I think they got at the price that it was airdropped in like $100,000 per ape that they held. That's going to bring some attention to the space, whatever the space is, and whether that's a catalyst that might have helped the start of alt season. We know that like the illiquid supply of Bitcoin and things like Ethereum specifically on exchanges was really high, meaning that there was not a lot of crypto to be bought on exchanges. So you get a catalyst like that where people are trying to buy into Ethereum quite quickly, dropping their ApeCoin bags or whatever, or the other way around, people are buying into ApeCoin. It brings a lot of like volume back into the market. So that could be something that's like catalyzed this market. But in terms of like ETH, the reason that that's like there's not like much of a supply is because we've got the upgrade to ETH 2.0, which I think comes out in June. So that like means that a lot of people have staked their Ethereum, meaning there's not a lot to be traded on exchanges. We've seen from like really cool on-chain analysts. I use like Will Clement, Willy Woo, like Plan B. I always keep my eye on those sorts of the charts for Bitcoin. And a lot of people or whales have been like hodling Bitcoin and taking it off exchanges, which means that the more volume that comes in, I didn't wear that very well. You need less volume to be able to move the price up, because you don't need a high demand because the supply is low. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Right. So those sorts of things are all adding up to the possibility that we could get an alt season or a breakout from this price range, because people are accumulating here, especially the long-term holders. That the retail interest isn't so much there, but maybe that ape coin that came through brings some people from the NFT space into the altcoin space that weren't here before, bring some of that like that catalyst and some of those retail eyes maybe back onto cryptocurrency a little bit. But I'm interested to know what you think is going on.
Yeah, well, if you zoom back out to the macro picture, I think that we've hit peak fear in the climax of this war. And and if you look at how well the markets have held considering everything going on, that's very strong. And so, yeah, I think that we're in a good position right now for that alt season that we've kind of been waiting for. Bitcoin looks good on the weekly chart. It's broke out. XRP looks good. Everything looks good. So I'm saying, barring any sort of crazy thing going on here, which is always in the cards, right? We don't know. That's out of our control. Um, it does seem like my country wants to go to war really bad, but that's what we do. But I do think that the situation, I don't know if we'll be at peace or if things will kind of just like calm down for the most part. But it seems like we've kind of made it through the rough part of that. So yeah, I think that we're going to start to go up, but it's also been a driver for cryptocurrency because, people are fleeing their country and it's, they can't pull their money out of the ATM, but they can buy some cryptocurrency, right? So I think that overall it's been good for cryptocurrency. Ukraine actually legalized it, and yeah, so many countries, and what we're watching on the world stage here is the rest of the world's ditching the dollar, which is bad for us here in America. But for those of us who have been preparing for this, it's going to be one of the best opportunities of our lifetimes, I believe. And of course, I believe that the United States has a plan to roll out their own digital dollar. That's in the offering they're coming. But in the meantime, I think that the space looks better than ever. I don't think that was it for the bear market, like you said, but I think that we're going to continue up. But we still have what I tell people is we still have a macroeconomic situation that brings this thing down, and I don't know when that
100%.
is. I don't know if that's this month, next month, or this year, next year. But we're on a house of cards here in America specifically, and that's being exposed through this whole war. We've weaponized our dollar, and it's turning people away. And so this shift is here. So for the people that are prepared and have invested into, cryptocurrencies, have hedged their bets with other assets, I think that it's going to be one of the best opportunities of our lives.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, and I think that that's super important what you've just touched on there. And like I was getting a bit excited about the charts and the more micro picture because it's the first time in a while that I think everything's added up. But it's so important to take that step back and look at the macro events. Anything could change, like geopolitically, like at any point. There's a lot of different catalysts that I don't really want to talk about on YouTube because I think that it'll probably like block your video, but we all know what they are. They're mostly to do with conflict. But you were saying about America and like monetizing militarizing the dollar. I think that's the terminology that you use, something along those lines. But we've got to, if the dollar collapses, it's going to affect everybody. Let's be completely honest. Like we don't really know even. We make our best bets on how we can hedge against that, like what we're going to do, what America would do next, because there's definitely got a plan, but we don't know the big scale plan as retail investors and like the repercussions of even what's happened so far in the commodities markets. Like what's that going to do to different hedge funds? Like we know that a lot of positions, like I was watching Real Vision Finance, which is like Raoul Powell's like show. I love that. To learn about like economics, they were talking about that a lot of hedge funds had long positions on commodities, but because of risk reasons, they have to open shorts, and the shorts obviously liquidated first. So then they have to find the cash to pay off the short before they can even take the long. So it's like, do hedge funds go bankrupt? And then we saw like Goldman Sachs offering loans out to smaller hedge funds at 10% interest. And it's like, what actually happens from here? Like, where does that ripple effect go? Like from there, like what happens? Are we going to see a like liquidity crisis? I saw Raoul Powell talk about in Sri Lanka, they can't even get enough dollars to buy petrol. They haven't even bought enough gasoline. So where are the dollars? Is there not enough dollars in circulation? So we're going to print more. Is that going to go against inflation? Is that going to like increase inflation? What does that mean for the Fed and and interest rates? Do they want to scare people into dollars, or do they want the dollars free flowing? Like who knows what like is going on? And any little step from any side of this huge geopolitical situation, it changes everything economically. And it's so interesting to watch. Like I've never really been into finance like long term. This is definitely the first big political / like conflict event I've ever watched. And oh my goodness, it's horrible. Oh, by the way, like I don't want to take that away because like that's super important. That's the most important part of all of it. But on a financial level, it's so interesting. It blows me away.
Right. Well, yeah, we're seeing a dollar shortage across the world. Like you said, it is a liquidity crisis and it's a systemic risk spreading. It's like contagion, you know. It's Yeah, spreading throughout the whole system. And I think that we are going to hit a critical point here soon. I just got the Changing World Order book by Ray Dalio, so I'm going to be
Yeah.
listening to that one. And I think it's important because for me, I have a landscape business that's really like in the streets, like on Main Street here, making things happen. But then I listen to books that give me that higher level picture of how are the Ray Dalios of the world thinking and what's coming, and I use that to kind of position myself personally. Right now, I'm sitting in a lot of cash because I know that we're going to have a liquidity crisis, dollar shortage. So even though we have inflation, I do think that will continue. Um, in that moment, cash will be king, and I'm waiting to pounce.
Mm.
Specifically on real estate, I need to buy a house for my family, so I'm waiting for absolute carnage in the real estate market so that I can secure a house for me and my girls. But um, yeah, man, I think that we're seeing it play out right now. I think that although, because bringing it back to what we were talking about, in the crypto community, everyone's so focused on, oh, we're still looking good on the charts. This is looking bullish. There's a whole, like you said, there's a whole war going on, and people are just here, like at the keyboard, worried about their portfolio, which is kind of silly. But our thoughts and prayers to everyone affected. But the situation is real, and it is affecting us back home. So we just have to deal with that. And like you said, people are so focused in the cryptocurrency space on watching the charts. So it looks good. Bored Ape Yacht Club NFTs. This is cool. But they don't understand that the overall like whole financial system has a lot of holes in it,
Mm.
and it's on its way down. It's a sinking ship, right? And if they're not prepared for that, I think it's going to be a rough time for the people that aren't.
Yeah, for sure. And like a sinking ship's a great analogy, but I'd think of it more of like a sinking dinghy, like an inflated one. And then every single time that we start to lose too much air to the ship's about to sink, they quickly like pump in like as much air as they can to keep the ship afloat. And at some point that they're not going to be able to do that anymore, and then we are going to have that collapse, and we'll be underwater. Literally, that's the terminology that people use as well. So that's definitely around the corner at some point, and us trying to put our finger on when that is going to be, like, it's really difficult, especially when there's so many potential catalysts at the minute. You've still got the C19 is starting to re-arise, like reoccur in China, and they're shutting down some like Shenzhen, and that what's that going to do to supply chains? What does that mean in terms of relationships when everything's already on edge anyway? Like, there's
Yeah.
so much that is almost impossible to predict in those senses for me anyway, with the limited like information that we have as retail investors. It's almost impossible for us. But so what I just try and do is I just focus on my XRP. I focus on my XRP bags, what's going on in the lawsuit, what's going to help me out short term. And I think that that's like the best thing for people to do in general, but have like a good understanding that anything could change at any point.
Yeah.
And that's why it's important to keep up to date with your channel and mine as well, I think, because we spend obviously most of our time where like researching this and trying to bring that information to the forefront, like for people to see.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why I went and bought a little bit of silver this weekend. I said, what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
Because for me, it's about diversifying amongst the asset classes and being prepared for everything. And whether the world, goes to absolute hell or not, you got to cover your bases. I mean, I'm ready to ride the storm. Or if we pump, and I want to get your take on this, if we pump over the next month or so, month or two, and we do have an alt season, my strategy, and you just tell us what you're comfortable with, but personally, I'm going to be selling off all of my crypto besides a large portion of my XRP bag if we do get this alt season over the next month or two. My XLM, XDC, the IOTA that I just bought, it's all getting dumped nearly 100% if we do get this alt season over the next month or two, because I do think that this is, just the final pump before we do head into a deeper bear market. So what's your plan as far as if we do get an alt season run over the next month or two?
Well, I'm in a different position to you, Zach, because I've already I've only got XRP in terms of cryptocurrency wise right now. I hold some NFTs,
You
like
got rid of it
small,
all?
all of it. It's all gone. It's all gone. It's all gone. To be completely
You
transparent,
really
right
are an
now,
XRP maxi.
yeah. To be completely transparent, I think that obviously the trade's great. Like the trade, I love the trade, but I also love the asset. I've got about 1% of my portfolio on a leverage trade, which I opened on Monday last week, 2 days before the FOMC meeting. In the thought of, I talked about it on my live stream. I thought there was a 60% chance he was going to come out and say 25 basis points, 2.25% interest rate hike. I thought there was a 20% chance that he could come out and say 0, and I thought there was a 20% chance he could come out and say 0.5. I think we've already priced into the market 6 times 0.25. So I thought anything 0.25 and below would be bullish. So that gave me an 80% chance that I thought we were going to have at least a neutral to bullish outcome. And I wanted to put that, take it on, take the risk, have the volatility before, because I thought if it comes out and it is 0, we'll probably pump massively. It came out and it was 0.25, and we've been slowly increasing from there. And I haven't closed my position yet on that leverage trade. So that's going all right. And then the rest of it is just in an XRP bag in my ledger. And that's all I'm doing. And in terms of cashing out, as we talked about a little bit before, I'm definitely going to be taking a lot of my bag on the way up. I've bought extra, as I said, I've sold already into XRP, so that's bought me extra bags to be able to offload. I want that for similar reasons to you, short-term cash, but I want to travel with mine. I will probably hide it in a ledger for a bit and go abroad. I want to emigrate long term. I do like the UK, but the weather's not good enough for me. I need some more
You coming
sunshine
to
in my
God's
life.
country or what?
I'll come and say hello, Zach. You can show me around.
Yeah.
We can do some stuff. That'd be sweet.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my plan. My plan is by $13.10, I will have offloaded a lot of my XRP. I'll still be holding over 45 to 50% of my original bag. But that's how much I am looking to offload, about 50-ish%. So quite a lot. But it will change my life. Like if I look after the capital that gives me and I invest that well, then I shouldn't have to work. But I don't really class this as work anyway, because I enjoy it. But it just takes the pressure off myself.
Yeah, so let's expand on that since we got just a little bit left here to go. What's the NFT project that you're working on, and any other projects that you want to mention?
Okay, cool. Thank you for the opportunity to talk about that. So the NFT project I'm working on, I'm trying to do something a little bit different, because a lot of people come into the space, they don't know what they're doing. They pay a content creator, still don't really get too much support. And they I feel like a lot of people could feel like they don't really get much value. I understand why content creators charge for their services, and I think they should, because they put the time in, they provide the value, and then someone comes in and pays for it. No, they're not making anyone do anything. Everyone signs up. But I'm trying to like mix it up a little bit and basically create an NFT project where you buy access into like an all-in-one like project. I'm not sure what platform I'm doing it on yet. It looks like Discord at the minute, with maybe some websites interlinked with that. But to bring you all-in-one access to different things. So when you get in there, you'll have like, I can actually read them off my whiteboard of some of the ideas. So I'm going to have like a section for help with social media. If you want to create social media content, I could talk about like portfolio management, risk management, one-to-ones, meet and greets. I want to do like a gaming streaming platform, a communal trading part, like a percentage split of any partnerships that I personally get, like business partnerships and like podcasts are all going to be like some ideas of what's going to be inside there. And you
So
have
they
to
get
say
access to you, and they get to kind of invest in you as the creator and what like your brand is, right?
yeah, exactly. And it's going to be, because it's an NFT based thing. So this is the idea for me on the bottom line is, let's say we get 20,000 people buying it. I want to make it low entry so people can get in. If you want to then go into a more specific area, you want to go like in an advanced trading section, you might have to buy, this is off the top of my head, like completely made up figures. You might have to buy 50 and stake them. And then they'd be staked for like a month or 2 months or 3 months, whatever you decide. And then they get released after that period of time. And if you are not enjoying the project, or you want to have your capital back, you can sell it on the secondary market. And I hope that if I provide enough value for people want to be involved in the project, that you'd be able to make money on the purchase that you that you originally made for the NFT. So that's the idea of that. And it's all going to be open, like the wallet will be open, everyone can see it. And I want to do it in like a DAO-based format. So if we're going to go for a partnership, for example, and someone wants a percentage of the partnership, let's say it's 10 NFTs stake for that, I'll put it out to the community. Like if I get offers from, I don't know, like Ledger, for example, if we go to Ledger and say, I've got 20,000 people in the community here, what can you give us on discount for your products? They 50%, let's say, I can then offer that to everyone in the community. And that's the sort of like idea of the project. I don't feel like I've explained it very well right there because it's quite hard to get out in words, but I have wrote a little document on it.
Yeah.
And I did a 15-minute video yesterday to like, because I've got some staff who are like doing like starting it at the minute, like we've got a website started and all that sort of stuff. So
nice.
That's the idea basically anyway.
Awesome. No, that's cool. That's unique. I think that what we're about to see is NFTs have been about 99% hype speculation and about 1% utility. And we're about to see it flip the complete opposite way to where it's going to be all about utility, all about access, all about being a part of that community, and not so much based off the hype and speculation and trying to flip, but as far as investing in something that you believe in, getting ownership in a piece of the pie of something like a creator, something like a business. So I'm super excited. People get it twisted because they think that I'm like against NFTs, and it's just 99% of them have just been pictures of silly stuff, and I'm waiting for the real utility to come, right? Like, and I don't, for me, it's just I haven't had the time to do it. I'm not like a crypto hustler where I go and I'm flipping NFTs and I'm flipping meme coins. I don't trade anymore. At this point, I focus on running my businesses and making content. So yeah, for me, it hasn't been my thing, but I'm super excited and bullish on that type of utility coming to the space because I think the NFTs is how we get mass adoption. I think that you saw how many people came into the space over the last year, and then I think that that's only going to increase from here. So, I'm super excited about that. We'll be watching that one closely. Yeah. Anything else, Will?
Yeah, just like on top of that is like, as I said, like I like to be transparent about it. Like it's hard for me. Like I want to talk about that it's not easy to do something like this. I don't have any experience in like coding or writing smart contracts or anything like that, or the back end stuff of it is just like, I understand how it works, but I don't know how to completely do that to myself. So one thing I'm finding hard is like relinquishing that trust to people. And one thing that I do understand though is how you can make money in different aspects of the space, like even like staking, stable coins, for example. So you could get someone completely new to the space and you could be like, look, if you complete this, and this, and you've staked your NFT, you'll get airdrop this amount of crypto because by that time their staked NFT will hopefully have earned however much. And then you can reward them with that plus their NFT back if they wanted to at the start. So I hope that I can provide a safe area for people to learn in a transparent way. And that's what I'm trying to achieve. But it's really difficult because the space is clouded by bad actors. And that's a lot that you see, which makes it difficult. But again, like it's difficult for me too, because I don't understand the back end stuff of it. So I need people that I really trust on my team as well. And so that's what I found really hard. So what have you got up and coming, Zach? 'Cause I haven't actually asked you this. I know that we are on your channel here, but I want to know about you, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, my strategy is to just get out more content, and specifically I'm looking at more interviews. So I've been getting in touch with a lot of people. I'm trying to line up these interviews. I'm still running my landscape business on a day-to-day basis, and I'm about to go out to work here shortly. So, it's a matter of balancing both businesses. I got my landscape business and now this media business, which with the media business, it's just about pumping out content and trying to bring the value. So, I've been doing live streams every night and I try to come on, I give people the headlines, the updates, but then actionable advice like every single night. And then in my Discord community, we've been growing that. And then what we've been doing is we've been doing more specific classes on like cybersecurity. We did one on real estate. One of my members, he actually used to teach Rich Dad Poor Dad seminars on real estate. So we've been putting on classes like that in the Discord. And then as far as my future for this year, it's just about building the community even more as far as getting bigger interviews, trying to reach out. I haven't got any Raoul Pauls like you, but we're working on some of that stuff. And I'm super excited to just kind of What got me here, I'm just doubling down on,
Mhm.
which is just putting out solid content. TikTok, I try to keep on putting out content there, but my focus has really moved to YouTube, um, because it seems to be a little bit more mature of a conversation on YouTube. And
Mhm.
obviously, you get paid a little bit better versus TikTok, where you don't get anything. So, you
Mhm.
know, it's been a more mature conversation over on YouTube, which is why I've been really just focusing on hammering YouTube. But yeah, man, I mean, just lining up big interviews. As far as any like projects and stuff like that, I'm not, haven't really gone down any of that yet. But I'll maybe be in talks with you about your project and see how that goes. And I'm
Mhm.
just, I want people to be prepared right now, so I'm just trying to get my message out, which is understand what's happening in cryptocurrency, tie it to the current events, and I just keep on repeating that I believe that this is going to be the greatest transfer of wealth in world history.
Yeah, and I'm completely on the same page with that. And like, I don't want to take away from the fact that this is actually, even though it's stressful and like all my net worth's tied up, it's so exciting. Like there's no more exciting space. And even though for a lot of my life I thought, oh, like, and recycling some of the ideologies of Raoul Pal here. Like a lot of my life, like was brought up thinking can't afford a house, like my salary's crap, all this sort of stuff. And then we've been blessed with the opportunity of crypto, and like whether it takes us somewhere amazing or not, like it has taught me so much. Like, and if you take the time, this is my major piece of advice actually, and this is advice. It's not financial, but it is advice. If you want to invest in this asset class, understand what you're doing first. Use all your time educating yourself, learn from people. So I'm massively into XRP. I watch all the XRP news, but I also watch what Bitcoin maximalists say. I want to learn. I want to know what people are saying on the opposite side of that coin. Like, am I right? Are you right? I don't know, but it's my opinion. I'm going to back it up with the knowledge that I've got. But I also want to see what you're talking about. Have I missed things? Maybe. I don't know. I'm only human, but they're the most important things. Get yourself educated in this asset class, and long term, you'll put yourself in a great position.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm sending you much love across the pond, Will. I appreciate you coming on. I want to make sure that everyone goes and subscribes to Will's YouTube channel. Let's help him run it up. He's one of the real ones,
Oh,
right?
thank you, bro.
Nothing to sell you yet until he launches his NFT platform. But I know that you're gonna be the real deal, man. You're not here for your quick buck. You're really in the crypto space. You're really building, and so this is why I wake up at 6 in the morning to get a session in with you, because you're one of the few real ones. So I appreciate the relationship. Thank you for coming on this morning, and yeah, it's always a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you, Zach. And I also appreciate your time. Like as we already said at the start, like we've known each other from right from the very start. You're the one of the first people to ever show me any love, and it's been a great journey. And I can't wait to share more of our experiences like later down the line, and hopefully in person one day. That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
But I hope you have a great day. Good luck with your business, and good luck with the family. And hope that your metals diversification comes in well too.
it's a little shiny rock up on the shelf, so that's cool.
All right, mate.
All
Thank you
right.
very much for your time.
Thanks, Will. Thank you, guys.